What are we gonna be? Are we gonna be free today? Which we're
Oh, we're
always.
always free. You know how that goes.
I sure do. What's it poppin', Yanko?
Hey, hello, hello, and welcome to another amazing episode of No Particular Reason. We're here, me, Yanko, and my wonderful co-host, Kerri Lewis. We're joining you live.
Live every Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 a.m. Central, and 8 a.m. Pacific Time, where we talk about everything, anything, and nothing in between. And we are super happy to be here celebrating 105 Fridays that we
That's
chalk it up
right.
with
That's
you guys.
right.
Although I'd say for me, it's like 85 because,
Nah,
sometimes
that's all
like.
right. You can put those under your belt.
Okay, cool. But yeah, I'm super excited to be here to talk about whatever comes to our mind. And because I was busy making a cup of beautiful hot coffee for myself, I didn't get to catch up with you. So what's popping in your world, Yanko?
Not very much. I was doing a little bit of research before we hopped in, and I wanted to do a video on how promises to ourselves can affect our relationships and other things, and thinking about doing something like that because a lot of those things sometimes prevent us from exploring our full potential. Because like if we trade and promise ourselves to be spiritual, that could be something that on the other end can look like refusing to have money and other things because one and the other like ideas collide, and you can be like spiritual and have money in some people's minds. And that's just a rough example, but I was just like looking to see how to do something like that
I
and maybe put it out
absolutely
there.
love that because I feel like every belief is a limiting belief, right? And
Yes.
going back to this idea of promises to ourselves, right? So I am very connected to source, to God, what feels true for me. I have a very personal relationship. I'm also highly quote unquote inappropriate. I talk about having sex. I go out, I swear like a trucker. I'm covered in tattoos. And when we create this expectation around what it is we need to be or how we need to experience life, we limit ourselves rather than just allowing ourselves to unfold with whatever experience feels good for ourselves in this moment. So we can live in that dualistic idea that society has imposed upon us that like we have to be a certain way in order to whatever get money
Not only society, we make those promises to ourselves without
ourselves.
even knowing it.
But would you not say that that is a result of embedded belief systems
Right,
and
right, right. Yeah.
cultural norms? So yes, you're right, and that's why we challenge our own thinking, but also it's imparted because of society in which we grew up with.
Yeah. In a moment of emotion, pain, love, guilt, fear, duality or whatever, you might say to yourself, I'll never love again, or I must suffer for what I did, or something along the lines of like I don't deserve abundance, or I'll remain alone, promises like that. And they become kind of embedded, and we just take it and run with it.
Yeah, so I'm going to challenge you because I will never forget when you told me. I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to be super abundant." And I was like, "You don't want that." I'm like, "The fuck I don't." And but
Eh,
that was that was your
eh.
perspective on abundance, and I totally get it, but I also think, for me personally, I could go down a rabbit hole of trying to figure this that out. But what I've come to understand in my personal journey is the minute I know peace, I'm connected and everything unfolds as it should be. We are inherently abundant. We are inherently joy filled. We are inherently loving. I don't have to figure out what belief I have to let go, or I don't even have to figure out what promises I've made to myself. Rather, I have to figure out how quickly I need to get back to a state of internal peace. And then everything externally unfolds for me in a way that feels really beautiful.
Yeah. Well, that's more of a kind of like a bridge in between the two. Instead of just jumping directly to the one, sometimes you need to like tiptoe and, baby steps to test the waters and be like, oh, is that's okay? Okay. And that kind
So
of,
explain. Like, what do you mean by that?
well, I mean that if you don't look at like how things unfold in your day-to-day life, and you might not be aware of like things that come up,
Yeah.
like what you just point out when we have a conversation. Sometimes we talk about things with the filter or lens we're using in the moment, in fully embodying in this moment, that might not be um, in our conscious awareness. So it might take a little bit to get to know that, oh, I'm doing this,
Yeah.
unless
Oh, of
you see the
course.
mirror.
And everything's an opportunity to unfold. I'll tell you, I had a couple of experiences. I'm always happy to share my own journey with people because I hope it gives other people permission to recognize the mess that we all exist in. So, Nana was away at a con last week. I haven't really seen him. And then he was sick. And I knew he had another con this
Mm.
week. So we ultimately planned on seeing each other Wednesday, but he didn't feel good. And so I surprised him at lunch and I spent 20 minutes with him. And in that 20 minutes, I found myself saying, oh my God, I miss Nana so much. I'm sitting on Nana's chest, telling myself this story that I miss Nana so much. Like that is the thinking mind. It was funny to me, right? But
I mean,
because
this is, yeah,
of
this is a wonderful example of how you miss the mark. Like,
I
how can you
know,
be
I'm
in the
saying,
presence and in the same time be in your head and miss the mark? And like, you're there. Why not enjoy it? Why miss it?
yeah. So he decided instead of coming out to see me on Wednesday, he was going to rest because he needed to get ready for his con this weekend. No biggie. I'm like, that's cool. I still miss him because like that's my person. We have so much fun together. But I'm like, yeah, do you? But the next morning I got a text from him that he sent at 12 at night. And I'm like, wait a minute, homeboy was supposed to be resting and he's sending me pictures of him in a cosplay. And again, I found out I'm making up a story. So it's giving myself this ability to recognize like this, he reached out to me to send me love, and I'm making up a story vilifying him because he didn't do the thing that I expected him to do. And that's where we come back to peace. Like, in the moment we have peace, like I feel connected to Nana. I don't need to like have him in my physical presence to know that we are connected in a really powerful way. But this idea that it has to look a certain way or it has to work out exactly how I want, that keeps me separated from the whole, like separated from the one. And it's just a constant evolution even for myself, guys. I've not figured it out, trust me.
I don't think anybody has figured it out. I mean, the only thing you can draw out of that is that the mind, it's a rubber that steals your moment every time. You know.
100%. And really quickly, Brandy the cute dog. This show is called For No Particular Reason, for just that. We talk about nothing and everything and anything in between, much of our life's experiences. But Yanko and I are both, we exist in consciousness, or at least I work too. I can't speak for Yanko. I always do that. And so, yeah, we talk about our experiences, and hopefully, in doing so, gives other people permission to live fully expressed and joy filled, because ultimately, that is our inherent natural. That's the nature of human experience if we come back to oneness.
Not if we come back to oneness. We're in oneness. We just have to remember and keep reminding ourselves.
Oh, 100%. And the minute you sit in suffering, you're like, that's where you realize you're in your thinking mind. But I'll tell
I
you,
am.
so I'm gonna tell another story because this week was full of funnies. Um,
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I'm at the gym doing leg presses at the Y, and I'm singing. I'm singing Lions. We are the lions. We are the chosen. So I wasn't even singing like a song where I swear, which I also do that too, guys, because Kerri has no problem dropping the fuck bomb if I want to. But anyway, I got approached by the person at the Y and was told I couldn't sing. And I was like, well, that's absurd to me. Like, of course I can sing. So then I was like, did somebody complain? So another guy comes over and he's like, I did. And mind you, he's the husband of the fitness director of the Y. And his wife sings in the classes she teaches. So I like,
Mm.
yo, I got so hot. I mean, this is the ghetto little spicy Kerri, right? So I'm like, you're a hypocrite. Who are you? Whatever. So I got mad, right? And so they left. And it took me a half hour to regulate. Like but I realized what it was I felt threatened. I had these two guys hovering over me as I'm down on the ground because I'm on the leg press. And it brought up this a little girl, like the little girl in me who was, told by my parents and by society that I was bad for being me, that I had to play small, that I had to be quiet. So it took me a half hour and I'm sitting there and I had to vacillate, and I'm vacillating between ego being right, these people are wrong and I'm right, versus, okay, what's coming up for me and my internal story? Like, what part of me needs to like recognize that this is something that I got to just let go of. So ultimately, I decided to let go and choose love and recognize that even those individuals, like this person's just doing his job, and this person obviously feels some type of way if people singing bothers him. And I apologize for getting hot, but it took me a minute, Yanko. And I then became grateful for the lesson that I realized I still had, narratives in me that tell me I'm a little girl, I'm not safe, and that I'm being threatened, and that I'm bad if I sing. And so it was a really beautiful experience, but I felt some type of way for a little bit of time. And even throughout this whole week, I keep finding my ego wanting to play that story out and be right. This
Oh
whole
yeah.
week, and every time me having to make a choice, because I do get to make me being right or me coming home to peace. What do I prefer? And I just keep coming back to that place of I'm going to come back to peace. Hi, Gail. You going to pop on with us today? You going to come play? I haven't seen you in a while. I see you promoting your book and connecting with all these beautiful spirits. But yeah, I love that you're here. But yeah, so that was my other story. And it's interesting because even as I share this, and for the listening audience, our thinking mind isn't as quick as our body. So right now my body is having a physical experience to that unfolded last Friday.
Oh yeah, yeah. When you
Tightness.
recall the memory,
Oh
that's what
my God.
happens.
It is so tight in my chest. My right side, which is my masculine side, particularly gets very, very tight when I'm in that space of fear, which it's fear. But yeah, it's definitely still present in my current moment. But I'm thankful for it because it just tells me, oh, I just gotta I just keep surrendering that. And I don't know when it will fully be healed, but the more I surrender it and the more I just honor it and let it go, the more I come back to just peace.
And we have our returning guest returning with us.
Hello!
Hi, I can't go on too
Ever
long.
been a
It's been a
minute?
long time. Yes, I like Kerri had been seeing you promoting your book. Congratulations! It's
Thank you.
wonderful.
Oh my
Um,
Cheers.
God.
yeah. What
Your
what a
hair
what
is getting
a
long. God, it's been forevers.
I
And you know
know.
what? This is just perfect because I was literally going through my messages within the past 2 days and thought about you. And I just, because we're connected, so I don't always have to text people. Like if I just send love and I'm like, oh, let me send love. And then here you are. See,
Of
alignment,
course.
baby. It's a beautiful thing.
Serendipity has been happening more and more and more and more frequently. So don't be surprised.
Oh, I'm never, trust me, I am never surprised. Right?
every time I catch myself saying something like, "Oh, see you next week," or "I won't see you," or anything, I stop and I say, Until next time, because I don't know. Until next time, because I don't know.
Yep.
Truly, truly.
100%. So anyway, Gail, I don't know if you caught what I was sharing, but I was talking about something that unfolded for me on Friday. How do you process when you feel out of alignment based on an experience you go through?
So, first of all, that doesn't happen to me frequently anymore.
Woo!
Okay.
Good for
Yeah.
you.
Yes. Hey, Bonnie. So it does happen. I lean into it. I
Yeah.
don't try to find the story. I don't try to find the root cause. I don't try to make it anything more than it is. It's just energy,
Yep.
It's
period.
just that. Yep.
Period. Right. And so I just acknowledge that I can feel the feels and let go of the story, and then the emotion dissipates.
Yeah.
Or I can attach a story to it and play it over and over and over again and really physically get sick.
Oh, well, that's what I've done all week. It's been wonderful. Which I don't know. I'm actually very grateful. Like again, teaches me like this is, the reinforcement for, we either exist in heaven and hell. I mean hell on earth or heaven on earth. And it ultimately is whether or not we are continuously feeding that story or not. The amazing thing, guys, is you can pull yourself out of that cage in a nanosecond. You just have to give yourself permission to.
You know, years ago, I gave a training around change, right? Navigating through change. And we go through it all the time, and it is a roller coaster ride. And I talked about a particular time in my life where I rolled around in it like a pig in mud. I wallowed in it. I loved the anger, the suffering, the blame, right? It was feeding me. Now, it wasn't feeding me healthy energy, but it was feeding me. And I was in that until I realized I didn't like who I had become,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then started to take ownership for my own creation of this life experience.
I love that.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. I saw a little clip with Michael Jordan, and it was Gail King asking Michael Jordan what he's taught his kids about expectations, right? Because clearly Michael Jordan had high expectations for himself and created this persona for himself. And what he said I loved, because he shared, never compare your expectations with me or anybody else. Can you look at yourself at the end of the day and have met your own expectations? And how that ties into what you were saying, Gail, is my expectation of myself is to come back to peace and love. So even if I play out a story for a week, every time I choose to come back to peace and love, I'm meeting what it is that feels true for me. And that's okay. And you didn't like yourself, so you changed your experience. Me, I didn't like feeling out of alignment. So I just came back to what I know is truth, which is peace and love, and stop feeding those stories. And that has been very, very helpful. So I for what Yanko said, and for people who this may feel really hard, just ask yourself, how do you want to feel every day? And whatever you experience, if it doesn't meet that feeling, do what you need to do to come back to how you want to feel or experience life.
So, I just finished a summit. I was very fortunate to speak at a summit last month. And guess what? I'm going to go and do it again in October, working on my presentation for that. And one of the things that I came away with in that summit was a new start of the day, if you want, perspective or intention. And the intention is basically, what am I bringing to life today? What am I bringing to life today? Because I create my own reality.
100%.
100%. And so I have to ask myself, what is it that I want to to bring to life today? What do I want to create today? Not in the future, not this big thing, but today, my little steps today. What I want them to be juicy and delicious. How am I going to do that today? And it really has, my life has been so much fun this past 6 months. It's been amazing.
I
Amazing.
mean, that gives you a lot of opportunity to have a lot of playground and, pull from all kinds of inspirations and do wonderful things.
Right. And I give myself permission, right, Kerri? Permission to change course, to focus or not focus, to play or not play, to do or not do, because it's my choice, my reality, and it's everything that I experience is up to me. And by doing that, I'm okay if I have a lazy day, because there are days I'm so ridiculously productive. I step aside and go, who was that person? Right? Who was that? Creating a whole course in a day and a half. Are you kidding me?
That
um,
goes back to our team song, "Who You Want to Be."
Today, in this
Right,
moment,
because that
right?
changes from moment to moment.
And in
Yes.
this moment, right? Because the only reality is in this moment. And so I love it. I just love it. And I love you guys.
We love you too. Well, I mean, here's the thing, that you nailed it, is permission, 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 permission. And I loved it at the summit. You brought to the people you speak into intention, right? Like, we get to give ourselves permission to have whatever experience we want. And yet we're so conformed. Many people are so conformed to believing that they are stuck in a certain life, a certain set of expectations, a certain way of doing things, that the practice of permission can feel hard. So setting an intention can help, because, right, we all know, for anybody who may feel like energy is a little woo woo, we have a reticular activating system. It's part of your brain. Science has proven that. So if you train your brain to seek something, it will start to find that. So if giving yourself permission to be playful and change your experience, like Yanko, Gail, and myself do quite often, feels really hard, then instead set an intention, because your brain will start to work to help you have those experiences to ultimately understand truth, which is, we do co-create our reality at all times and can change it anytime we want. Like me, I can sit in suffering or I can know peace. Sometimes I sit in suffering, and more often than not, I know peace.
And sometimes we want to sit in suffering. We choose to sit in suffering, right? Either consciously or unconsciously. I do want to put a plug in because I'm so excited about my next summit is going to be about remembering the magic.
You're the second person who said magic in the past 2 days. It's so interesting.
Well, my book that just came out is all about magic, right? Um, and bringing magic into reality,
Mm.
right? Because that, what we call magic, is simply creation, right? Some people call it manifestation, some people call it intention,
I call it miracles.
some people call it miracles, right? We use this word magic, and all of a sudden it's this woo woo thing, and we are the woo. There is no woo woo. We are the woo, right?
There's your catch quote. I say I got you like a fish. Yours is we are the woo.
We are the woo. Let's create a song. We are the woo, right?
Yeah. Well,
the
it's
the 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 woo in the woo.
but you're so right. And it's interesting. So Nana was texting me pictures of his friends' cosplay costumes as they're preparing to go to a convention this weekend. And the thing I love about watching the anime cosplay community is they create magic in that collective sphere of 3 days. Now, what I also love to watch is Nana creates magic in every day, whereas some people going to that con only allow themselves to have that experience within those 3 days. And so that's where Nana and I work really well collaboratively, because he embodies it, and then I kind of have the language that meets people so that they can understand that they don't have to just go to convention centers to experience magic. They can create that experience every single day, any moment, whether they're at work, parenting, you know, watching ailing family member. They can create that, and it's just it's coming back to joy, guys. Just like you said, Gail, like I can make a choice. And then if I change my mind, it's no longer fun, I'm going to dip and do something else.
Yes, if it's no longer fun. You know, when I talk about the inner child, right? Um, I notice some people use acting childlike as tapping into their inner child, right? And when I talk about inner child, I'm talking about the curiosity that the inner child has, the freedom to try something crazy because you don't know that you're going to fail. You don't, so I'll give an example. I grew up in the inner city in the projects, and lived in a three-decker, and we had a front and back porch. The front porch had a huge railing, wide railing. I used to walk that railing. I didn't know I could fall and crash my head on the cement and die. I just knew that it felt awesome to have my arms out straight and walk that railing, what it felt like, the freedom to be up there. Now, if my family ever saw me, they would have a heart attack for sure. But the freedom to experiment without the boundaries of the fear of where the failure could be is amazing. And if we can create, and I'll give an adult example. As an adult, I was offered my first leadership job. I never intended to be a leader. It was handed to me. And it was handed to me from a company that was going under. And they thought I could help them get out of the mess that they were in. I thought, okay, childlike, innocent, no perspective. Sure, I'd be happy to. It's on Amazon. um, I did not know I could put them under. I believe this is a great opportunity. They're in such a position. I have no choice but to succeed. There's only one way to go when you hit the ground, and that's up. That's what I thought.
And so you
And within 9 months, we were doing so well. We were looking for tax cuts. We need to buy more equipment. We need new computers. We need new systems. Because we were making too much profit for the end of the year.
Well, but yeah, so here's the thing, right? On what some people celebrate is Good Friday. It is written in the book, in scripture, that says walk in this world with childlike wonder. You're 100% right. Like, even in a relationship, right? I could sit here and assume that I know how me and Nana's relationship is going to work out today because of 6 years of moments. But that's not true. Who me and Nana are today is not who we were 6 years ago, and who we're going to be tomorrow or Sunday or Monday are not who we are today. And so when we really give ourselves permission to be present without expectation, really beautiful things unfold. And I think it's why Nana and I play so much, because there's no expectation of how we need to be for each other. The only thing that we show up in is unconditional love. We don't try to change each other. And it's really beautiful. And that is my experience with my children. I don't have an expectation of how I need to show up for my child each day. And in doing so, we have this really beautiful connection where people feel safe, they feel seen, they feel accepted. And I'll share. So yesterday I was in New York City. I was chaperoning on a trip with a bunch of teenagers, and I was given, quote unquote, the kids I had to watch, right? And I didn't. I looked at these kids. I didn't even hang out with my daughters. They were busy with their friends. I had this wonderful lunch with these beautiful, amazing teenagers who all had amazing insights and like filled my cup with love. And it's because I didn't show up as a chaperone. I didn't show up with a preconceived notion of these kids. I got to know them on their individual basis, and they felt safe to the point where they were asking me to be their mom, and I'm like, "Oh, you don't want me to be your mom, or maybe you do, but but that's the point. Is
Yeah.
wonder is not going into any situation with an expectation, but rather allowing it to unfold. And sometimes it unfolds and it feels hard, but even if it does, what can you learn from that? What's coming up so you can let it go and still have more moments of wonder?
Well, so that gets to preconceived ideas, and I'll share another story of judgment, right? Started a new position in a company, and I'm in the office with my leader, and she's got everyone on speakerphone, and we're about ready to introduce me to my team and my customers, right? And she's telling me how horrible the lead technical person is that I'm going to have to work with, and all of the things I need to watch out for with her, right? And then she starts the meeting. I would go back to my desk afterwards. I called the woman. She was in a completely different state than me. And I said, listen, my job is to do this, 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 and this to support you. What else do you need from me? Her name was Gail. We were known as Gail Squared. There was nothing we couldn't get done. We rocked it. When I left that company, she called me and she said, I want to tell you how grateful I am that you decided to make your own opinion about me. The speakerphone was on. Everyone in the meeting heard what she said to you,
Yeah.
right? So my approach was I don't care what you think about anybody. I will have my own experience with them. And that's going to be based on where I come from, not where they come from.
And to go even deeper, we really shouldn't even care about what we think about ourselves. Like, and this goes into deep, 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 deep connection with like, what do they say, the Holy Spirit or whatever. But truly, like, our thoughts, they come and go just like a typical storm or whatever. And it's when we attach onto them that we get caught up. But the thing is we're just energy. We're love, we're creation, we are. So when we get caught up, which we all do, I don't care, every single person on this panel does, whether they say it or not, like, because we all experience ego. But the reality is it's not our job to even make a judgment about ourselves. That's why Christ says the last judgment has nothing to do with somebody's coming down and picking off the good people. It's the last time we judge ourselves, because it's not our job to even make a preconceived notion about ourselves.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's why, so one of the things you touched on was how long the energy of emotion lasts. And it's scientifically proven. You can go look at it, guys. No more than 90 seconds. So when you're in agony for an hour, 2 hours, 2 days, 3 weeks, it is the story that you're replaying, not
You're
the
doing it to
original emotion,
yourself.
right? And so just observe for yourself. Just try this. Here's an experiment. Just watch your emotions throughout the day and notice how they flow, because we're energy and we're water, which is a conductor of energy, right? And it flows. It doesn't stay. What stays is what we hold on to, and it gets stuck
Yep.
because of the story we attach it. So we choose to live in agony. We choose to live in pain because it serves us somehow. Maybe we don't know any better.
Well, that's it. I think a lot of people don't know any better. And then this idea to give ourselves permission can
Yeah,
feel really, really hard, because it contradicts everything that we have existed in for however amount of time we've been in this human body, right? And so
right.
it's a practice, it really is. And, the reason I said everybody in this panel experiences this is again, I keep seeing this over and over. There's not one of us who has this figured out, guys. And the minute anybody tells you that they always experience peace and joy, like always, they're not being honest, because we live in the duality of the light and the shadow self. We just do. So, unconditional love is really accepting that the whole of yourself, that is unconditional love, and not creating this expectation of, oh, I have a great relationship with my daughters and then we have a fight, and oh, I'm such a shitty mom, or like, because that stuff on it happens. I see it happen
Right.
all the time.
Yep. Oh, I know. I know. I'll tell you that shitty mom experience took me a long time to navigate through. So that was one of the things I held on to, right? That I failed, right? And when I look back, I had more non-failures than failures. But I was focusing on the one time I made a mistake, the one time I made the wrong judgment, the wrong time, right? The few times versus the every single day doing it right and then tripping up, right? We're
Well,
human,
not
right?
well, well, not only that, but I was gonna say, depends on how you train your mind. If you train your mind to focus on the negative all the time, you'll have constant negative experiences.
Because that's what
You
you're looking
know,
for.
But be
exactly.
be careful though, because here's the thing, guys. We all know that the natural human behavior is to think negatively, like, so it's not about training, it's untraining.
Well,
And
it's remembering who we are.
exactly, I really want to preface that, because a lot of people are like, what do you mean you're training your mind to think negatively? That is what we witnessed that, right? Like, I got heat today because I was telling somebody I'm peaceful, because they're like, how are you doing in a state of the world affairs? I'm like, oh, I'm chilling. And then they, to each their own. But the reality is I'm not upset with this individual, because we have been habituated through centuries, guys. We're not even talking about this lifetime, right? We're talking about from the dawn of man. We have been habituated to think negatively, to think in this experience of fear. So you can, and I totally agree with Yanko, we train through practice our mind to think positively, and then we create a positive experience. And really easy ways to do that: practice gratitude, right? Go outside and ground in nature. Go around people who celebrate you rather than tear you down, you know? And then going back to your point around parenting, Gail, you know, I'm always observing how I show up for people in whatever way. And do you know what the thing I do most for people is? I celebrate them. My job
I
isn't to teach
know.
somebody to be who they are. It's to celebrate them, to teach them to do the same thing for themselves, because this idea of honoring ourselves feels so foreign for so many people. But once somebody else is like, yo, you did that, you can start to give yourself permission to do it. And I was talking to somebody the other day, very much like you, Gail. They're so focused on tearing down their parenting, and because they shared that with me, I was literally able to list off 25 amazing things that they had been doing in the time that we had a conversation that contradicted this one idea that they're not a good enough parent. And so that's why, guys, the other thing I'm going to tell you, if you want to experience a more joy-filled, positive life, look at who you surround yourself with. Because I surround myself with these three people, and people who lift me up, and as a result, I experience a more joy filled life, and that's important.
But it's
Here,
okay
here.
not to feel joy, right?
It
It's
is.
okay.
It's very
So, and you touched on, and then Yanko, I'll give you back the stage. You touched on the fact that we're in a life of duality. We're in a life of contrast,
Mhm.
and rather than soul, I'm going to say consciousness. We are consciousness. We are energy that became self-aware and conscious. And as energy that became self-aware and conscious, we got bored with joy. We got bored with, oh, well, this is the, oh, I know
Yeah.
what. I am going to create this thing. Let's create pain. So let's create different energy so that we could experience it. And and in in the trainings that I do, I talk about, imagine that you went to a movie and you decided to go to a horror flick. and you're sitting on the edge of your seat. You're watching like this, and your heart is palpitating, and the movie is over, and you walk out. That was awesome. That's what your soul is doing right now, watching itself experience this duality, this contrast, the pain that we chose to experience. And it's saying, whoa, that is awesome. And she survived that one. Ooh, and she went through that one. Let's see what she can do next. So it's a game. Play it. Enjoy it.
Play the game. Yes. It's yeah, that's I mean, if I go back and compare myself to not understanding what you just explained before, it was hard. It felt like the person on the other end couldn't relate to what poor me was going through, but it was something else that wasn't happening. It was happening for everybody else, but not for me. So yeah, I wanted to go back to what we were talking about in relation to kids and everything, because I catch myself through that. It's not a depends on the role you assume. It's not a one-way street. It's not you taking control in um, teaching the other side. It's a two-way street. You learn from the other side. You look at the feedback you're getting and all that. So it's not about like idea that you're a good parent or bad parent or everything. It's a co-creational journey. So
And I mean, one of my favorite quotes ever from A Course in Miracles, and this goes into, I want to say it's the teacher psychology part of the book, but we're always the teacher and the student, guys. We're always. And I'll never forget when my youngest daughter looked at me one day because she is taking voice lessons and she's explaining to me the head voice, the chest voice, and stuff. And she looked at me and she said, "It's so cool, Mom, that I get to teach you." And I'm like, "Girl, you're always teaching me. You've been a reflection and a teacher to me since you were born. In fact, I am who I am in part because of our experience." And I think that's important for people to understand, that we do get the gift of constantly unfolding into deeper consciousness, a deeper awareness, when there isn't this assigned role that it's, oh, I'm older than you, I'm your boss, I'm your mother, whatever. And instead, just operating from what Gail you shared earlier, which is wonder, which is just curiosity, which is, don't know how this is going to be, but it's going to be. And allowing it to be that rather than an idea of what it should be, because that's what we've been brought up to believe.
Well, and the should is just another story.
100%.
So, yeah, and stories are how we shape and frame and create our reality. So stories are important, otherwise we wouldn't exist in the third dimension if we didn't have stories to hold the
100%.
energy together, right?
100%.
Right, right. And everything that we're saying is a story. It is our belief. And a month from now, we might change our mind. We don't know,
My
right?
favorite philosophers are the ones who change your mind all the
I
time.
was just about to say that earlier when we talk about who we're talking about. I don't even remember, but like to compare somebody's journey and go back in time, it's totally different person. Like I had an aha moment when I went back and compared myself when I was 13, and it was a totally different mask, different personality, had totally different experiences, almost like we're two different people. We can't relate to each other. So how can you go and even whoever you comparing it to, of like what do you think you're gonna teach your kids now or whatever, it's totally different person. Every moment to moment you change, every moment to moment you bring out new experiences, new things, and you don't have to bring out the past with you. It's just extra baggage. It's
Yeah.
easier if you just drop the bag that you're carrying with you and go lighter. It's easier that way.
And you can transform faster. So I took a trip this winter back to New England, and I'll be back, by the way, at the end of May So I'll be there in the summer, Kerri. So maybe I'll come down to see you because I'll have my car. Um, and so two things happen. Was talking to a friend of mine who I haven't talked to for a couple of months, and he said, "Your voice has changed." Right. And then I did a one-to-one with someone that I hadn't seen for a while, and they said, "You look different." Now, I was only gone for like 6 months, right? Because I'm calmer, I'm more centered, I'm more sure, I'm more curious, I'm more open, I'm more blah, 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 blah. And so I do sound differently because I'm talking from a different place than I was talking before, right? So it's a lot of times not me talking. I have to record myself because I don't know what I said. Right?
I
And
know what you mean.
right? And we're energy. So of course I'm going to look different because we're changing every second of every moment. Because what did I say earlier? We're water and we are conducting energy and we are made of energy. So we're changing all the time. So how do you want to look? Look at an older person and you can tell by their face what kind of life they led.
Oh, for sure.
You can tell if they've had a miserable, angry life, or if they've had an intelligent, curious life, or if they've had a peaceful. You can tell from the lines on their face. It's like a palm reader reading the palms of your hand. You can see the stories in their face.
Well, and this goes back to, and I really hope the listening audience gets this. Guilt and shame, fear, apathy, anger, they're dense energies. It's a heavier energy to exist in it. It feels like, there is truth to that. Why are you carrying the mountain on your back? Quote, because it feels heavier. And the more you experience this lightness of being, the lighter you feel as a whole. You exist in this peace. So it really does serve you if where you're at right now doesn't feel good, right? If you're like, and you want to experience a change, it serves you to give yourself permission to be curious. At least be curious. You can think that all that you've heard today is woo woo. I love that book. Power Verse. I've studied his work. It's by Dr. David R. Hawkins, and he actually has another book called Letting Go, A Pathway to Surrender, that I really encourage people to read too. The challenge I find when I recommend it is it can feel really dense. It's very technical. And so if you're looking for a book that can help you, doesn't feel as hard, A Changed Mind by David Beer is a really good recommendation. But the whole point, sorry guys, is negative energies are dense energies, positive energies are lighter energies. Neither one is good or bad, right or wrong. They're just an energy. You can have the experience. And if how you feel feels heavy and weighed down, might you consider giving yourself permission to lean into curiosity, because curiosity will naturally come with courage, and courage is an energy emitting at 200, which is a lighter energy than shame, guilt, fear, apathy, anger, etc.
I need to go, guys.
Bye.
Oh,
I told you I couldn't stay the whole time.
that's all
I'm
right.
gonna
Well,
get ready for a dragon card reading.
You
Bye.
go
thanks for
have so
jumping.
much fun.
I will. I hope you guys enjoyed the day. Bye.
Bye. Oh, that was exciting.
It was. It was a shared energy exchange.
Uh, well, yeah, everything is energy exchange. I keep seeing it more and more, and I'm glad you bringing it up every time too, and with our viewers too. It's nice to have that energy exchange.
It is. It's beautiful.
Yeah. So where do we go from there? We got a couple more minutes. You want to sing us a song? And
Yeah, no, I really want to reinforce this though, because I think that I just keep hearing this through many people I know, um, people I don't know. We do not have it figured out, and we all exist in contrast. We all experience the wonder and the joy, and we all experience moments of uh contrast, suffering, ego, thinking. And so I don't care who it is, me, Yanko, Gail, Deepak Chopra, Eckhart Tolle, Jesus. We have all experienced that duality, and we will continue to experience that duality until, and there are written accounts of people who literally dissolve into the one, like, so they don't exist at all in that duality anymore. David R. Hawkins is one. He writes extensively in I want to say it's transcendence, whatever, but the point is, for you guys, find what feels good for you, but worship no idol. No idol. That means not me, not Yanko, not Gail, not Jesus, not Buddha, not worship no idol, because connection with one is very, very personal. And when you, right, comparison is the thief of joy. When you like make up this story that, oh, they have it all figured out and I don't have it figured out, you suffer. And even I find myself in that. So just recognizing that, that's a really, really important message that I hope people take away, because it's so critical to your own unfolding into yourself.
it's just, to me, it's more of a, I don't know, like an unfolding, curious unfolding, not having to make things up. Things just happen the way they're supposed to, and you're in the flow with the flow. And then as you're flowing, you're starting to feel the joy and more joy and so on.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. So when the heart is overwhelmed, lead me back to love, knowing that the truth resides within us. When you're feeling a bit sad, remember that you can lean into love in any moment, and that is one. There we go. That's what I got.
Wonderful. I love that you're doing that. Maybe we can turn this into a thing for every stream if you want to sing,
But
because
sing. I will
singing,
sing from my
yes,
heart.
singing it's vibration.
Remind you that you are worthy of your own creative love. And when it feels really hard, remember the truth, and that is you are always a shining star. Yeah, it's interesting because I do love to sing. And when I feel out of alignment, that is my go-to. I sing. I sing and I come right back to alignment. And that is where I know joy and peace. So,
Again, singing, it's sound vibration. You're bringing out that joy, you're sharing it, and our audience can connect really and feel joy with the sound vibration. So,
or not. And that's okay too. I might offend
sure,
you, think
yeah.
I did at the light fest, but at the end of the day, it's all a gift, guys. It's all a gift. And when you really, for me, I came back to alignment as soon as I found gratitude for that gift of that experience. So, until next time, people, this was episode 105 for no particular reason with your host, Yanko Yankov. Our guest, Gail Craft. You can find her book on Amazon. And evidently, she does dragon card readings. We should have asked her to share that. And myself, Kerri Lewis at Kerri Lewis coach on Instagram and Facebook. We love having conversations with you guys. We want to hear your thoughts, whether you understand what we're saying, whether you disagree with it. Please feel free to let us know and ask us any questions. We will share our experience, but it doesn't mean it's the right experience. It's just a different perspective for you to consider. And if that's something you want, I know that Yanko and I feel very strongly about holding space for you guys in that way. Until next time, we'll check you on the flip side.
Yeah, bring yourself. Let's have this going on.